the romanticization of this beautiful city, the history and the charm of Delhi. Well, all of this goes straight out of the window when it comes to dealing with one perennial problem, and that is the problem of air pollution. Delhi has been in international news for all the wrong reasons. We've been hitting headlines for being the most polluted city in the world. Today, we are talking about air pollution in Delhi and the neighboring cities and towns. I'm Sneha Mordani. This is Health 360. Well, if you think that air pollution in the Indo-Gangetic Plain, particularly northern India, is actually a winter problem, it isn't. It is a problem throughout the year which only gets aggravated during this time of the year, which is the run-up to winters, essentially starting October. Let's now consider two areas particularly. We're taking into account one city in Punjab, that's Amritsar. The second city that we're taking into account is Delhi city, which of course is the national capital. First, let's take a look at what really happens in Punjab in Amritsar. Here's the data from 2019. 208 is the AQI, which of course is in the poor category. It then improves marginally in the year 2020. Look at the pandemic year of 2021. 2020 and 2021 is the time when we see a dip at 36. It then again surges to 246 in 2022, again in the very poor category zone. And of course, 2023 is at 126. So that's how the AQI is in the city of Amritsar, considered one of the most polluted cities in India. What about the national capital? What about Delhi city, which always is in news for these reasons of having filthy air that we all have to in fact breathe year after year? Let's take a look at Delhi. AQI at 284. 25th of October 2019, noticeable change again in the pandemic year at 82, but the AQI the other years in fact continues to be in the very poor, sometimes even in the severe category. 2022 302, 2023 at 243, though there has been a dip in farm fires, but there is marginal improvement as far as the AQI is concerned. Delhi's air is still in the poor category. This is no less than a health emergency. It's almost assuming epidemic proportions. People living not just in Delhi but also the national capital region and towns and cities of the Indo-Gangetic Plain battle air pollution. Now, it is not like COVID which hit us from nowhere. It is rather shameful that we know about the problem, we know about the sources of air pollution, and we are not able to find a long-term solution. But what are the kind of adverse effects on health of people who are already vulnerable? Take a look. Air pollution is a silent killer. Pollutants travel to your arteries, brain, kill you slowly. In many, the impact is almost immediate and visible. Airborne particles found in haze, smoke and airborne dust present serious air quality problems. People with asthma are at a greater risk from breathing in small particles. Like in the case of Nitin Rawat, who suffers each time the air quality plummets.
मुझे 5-6 सालों से अस्थमा है, तो खांसी का बढ़ जाना, मेरी सांस में फूलना और जुखाम, आँखों से पानी आना, आँखों में जलन होना, तो ये सारी चीज़ें मुझे बहुत परेशान करती हैं.
Doctors say there is a direct link. Hundreds of patients have pulmonary disorders, impaired lung function, worsened asthma. Stepping out of the house is akin to going to a battlefield when the air quality is poor.
In the last 2 weeks, if I say, definitely there has been an increase in the patients who are suffering from breathing related issues. If you talk about the numbers, I would say around 30 to 40% of our OPD has increased, especially with the patients who are coming to us with breathing issues in these last 2 weeks. If somebody is having asthma, they are coming with complaints of worsening of their shortness of breath, they are having cough, they are having fever. And if those who are old, having COPD or any interstitial lung disease, they are coming with the acute worsening of their underlying lung disease.
He is vulnerable to air pollution. His parents are already worried about the aggravated bronchitis he suffers from. Air pollution makes it worse.
I have a 4-year-old son. He's facing the problem of itchiness, redness in the eye, constant wheezing, coughing and breathlessness. So, and this is the problem that he's been facing constantly for past 3-4 years now, since we stay in this beautiful area called the Greater Noida West, which is full of construction all the time. The government has taken no initiative to help us. So we're like almost living on a site which is like a chimney.
Abhinandan is one amongst the many children in Delhi suffering because of the abject failure of the Aam Aadmi Party government in Delhi and Punjab and BJP governments in Haryana and UP to keep the air in the region clean. There are several other sources of air pollution. Household exposures to dust mites and cockroach allergens and the irritant effects of environmental tobacco smoke contribute significantly to asthma morbidity.
For indoor air pollution, I would say that if we can afford, we should use air purifier, because that is at least causing the decrease in the AQI, at least in the indoor air. Obviously, it won't affect your outdoor air pollution exposure, but at least the indoor air pollution exposure can be reduced with the use of an air purifier. And then for those outdoor air pollutions, for the patients who are suffering from chronic respiratory illness, I would suggest them not to go out early in the morning or late in the night, because that is the time when the AQI is at its peak. And for those who are normal without any chronic respiratory illness, they should not do any strenuous activity during early morning as well as during late night.
Understanding the source of air pollution is the key. There is a lot that we can do to curb air pollution. The need is to do it now, so that living in Delhi NCR is easier for patients like Nitin and Abhinandan. With Simranjeet Kaur Renu, Sneha Mordani in Delhi for India Today. It is not just affecting your lungs or causing you breathlessness. There is enough evidence and more to show that air pollution is actually causing a lot more damage to different organs of our body. Much more damage than we can actually imagine. In fact, there is evidence to now show that air pollution is also affecting the unborn child in the mother's womb. It's also leading to dementia. This report gives a sense of the kind of problems that air pollution is causing in the short run and in the long term. It is not just your eyes that are watering, or the disgusting stench of smoke in the air. It is not just the breathing difficulties you face at this time of the year. Long-time exposure to air pollution kills you silently, and this has been documented. Delhi NCR's air quality continues to be in the very poor category, as the region's average air quality index stayed above 350. And it is not just Delhi. Most Indian cities have air which is not worth breathing. Here is why an air quality index of over 100 should alarm not just you, but also wake political decision makers from their slumber. It has gone way beyond worsening asthma and reducing lung capacity. Air pollution has reached the womb. Scientists find pollution is reaching babies in the womb and slashing boys' future sperm counts. You heard that right. We are harming unborn babies. Man-made pollution is making unborn children very ill even before they've taken their first breath. Doctors for the longest time have believed that air pollution has an impact on fetal health, and this research, amongst many more, just validates those fears.
Our next generation, even before it is born, is getting exposed to air pollution, and these particles pass through the placental membrane as early as the first trimester of pregnancy and lead to developmental issues with respect to the liver, brain, heart, and even later on leading to decreased sperm counts in these children.
Air pollution is leading to heart attacks. A sudden increase in heart attacks, heart ailments, young Indians dying because of cardiac arrest has been noticed across hospitals in India, and doctors believe that this has a direct link with air pollution. There is enough research and more that points towards the direction that air pollution indeed is blocking our arteries. This is how.
Increasing levels of pollution have harmful substances which then go into the lungs and from the lungs diffuse into the arteries. We have a higher risk of increase of 2% risk of admissions from heart attacks, admissions from heart failure, admissions from stroke.
There is a possible link of air pollution with dementia. The Journal of Neurology says researchers have found the risk of dementia increased by 3% for every 1 microgram per cubic meter increase of fine particulate matter. It's no secret that pollution is reducing life expectancy. Air pollution is currently shortening the life expectancy of people in Delhi by 10 years, according to a new report from the University of Chicago. It is no secret that increase in air pollution has taken an extraordinary toll on both the quality and longevity of life in India. In New Delhi, Sneha Murdani for India Today. Let's now bust 2 myths for you. The first one, that air pollution in Delhi is only a winter problem. It actually isn't. If you're living in Delhi NCR in this region, then you're breathing in filthy air right throughout the year. The second myth, that Delhi and NCR regions are the only ones that have pathetic levels of air pollution. That again isn't correct. The entire Indo-Gangetic plain is polluted. Cities and towns in this entire region are all battling pollution. Listen in to what experts have to say. Take a look at this report.
In the wake of the air quality index reaching severe category in Delhi,
धुंध और धुएं के कॉकटेल ने एक बार फिर से दिल्ली की हवा को बेहद खतरनाक स्तर पर पहुंचा दिया है.
schools will remain shut, but only from 1st to 8th standard.
The air quality index right now here is 197.
Some restrictions might just be lifted, is what we've been given to understand. All the spotlight on Delhi and its annual headache, air pollution. But to think that Delhi's air is breathable throughout the year and worsens only during Diwali and during winters is naive. This is a problem throughout the year.
Throughout the year, the city has polluted air, whether it is poor or very poor or severe. Right now we are going through very poor, severe and severe plus category. So that's why the air pollution is visible. But during winters also we have very poor air quality. So this city, frankly speaking, across the year has some of the worst air quality in the world.
Day after day, we are breathing in dirty, polluted air. While there was a downward trend following the national lockdown during the first wave of the COVID-19 pandemic, air pollution is now back with vengeance. India Today has accessed the 5-year daily and monthly data to analyze how the situation has gone from bad to worse over the years, with the exception of the lockdown. These are figures January to May, when no one is talking about pollution. What is worrying is that so far this year, Delhiites have not experienced even a single day of good air quality. This year also saw the lowest number of satisfactory and moderate days in the last 5 years. 2020 was the best in terms of air quality, and that can be attributed to the national lockdown. Particulate matter, or PM 2.5, is the most talked about pollutant at this time of the year. But the fact is that there are way too many pollutants and many sources of these pollutants that actively contribute to air pollution in Delhi, NCR and many other cities actually throughout the year. For example, in summers, in Delhi, ozone pollution is the most deadly kind of pollution.
The worry in this city today that in addition to the particulate levels, we also have these other gases that are raising their ugly heads, and ozone is one of them. And ozone is relatively a bigger problem during summer, but it's combustion sources that are very important today, and they are contributing much more, and they are more toxic, and they are not only toxic particles but also the toxic gases. So we have to take a more holistic approach, and we have to address this as a multi-pollutant and a multi-sector problem. So imagine today if in this city we are able to collect only 50% of the household waste that we generate for proper disposal, right? The other half is therefore dumped somewhere, and more waste accumulates in the open, more prone it is to burning. Plus the landfill, the mountains of waste that we have in the city, so many of them. So they also catch spontaneous fire. So the methane emissions, and they are, you can see on fire.
Also, while Delhi is in news for all the wrong reasons, the fact is that the city has company and is just one amongst the many towns and cities in the Indo-Gangetic Plain battling air emergency. For example, Kanpur and Muzaffarnagar in UP, Bagpat, Vrindavan, many of these towns and cities are extremely polluted.
But the narrative that is there in Delhi right now has to be the narrative across the Indo-Gangetic Plain. Similar kind of pollution is there in West Bengal, is there in Bihar, in Jharkhand. In fact, some of the most polluted cities right now, apart from Delhi, is in Bihar and UP. Now, unless and until you have this narrative going across Indo-Gangetic Plain, where states can come together and work, and mind you, this pollution problem will not be solved without a cooperative arrangement between states, because each state is polluting each other right now.
It is clear that conversations around air pollution, solution hunting, has to be a year-long process, not just a winter one. Pollution isn't a winter problem. In New Delhi, Sneha Mordani for India Today. We're pausing here for a quick commercial break. On the other side, we're offering you some solutions on sustainable and conscious living. We're also getting you experts on what purifiers you should be investing in.